AITA for taking back the beer I bought for a party from which I was uninvited. This occurred only a few hours ago. I am a 19-year-old male, and the individuals calling me in are 18-year-old men and women. On Thursday, a person I had a strong crush on in high school, but who rejected me, messaged me out of the blue. She had never contacted me without my contacting her first, and at one time I noticed she had me banned on social media, and so I considered it unusual that she was now being polite. After sending a few of greetings/questions about how I've been, she stated that she was planning to have some folks over and wanted to know if I would fetch the beer. The drinking age where we are is 19, and she and the folks that were going to relax were all 18. The booze establishments in my neighborhood all card. I felt it was absurd that my being a month older meant I could purchase whiskey and they couldn't, and so I replied I would love to go. She responded, "Thanks, I'll pick you up at 7. 7 o'clock came around, and she texted me to say she was in front of my home. I went out clothed and ready to relax with some folks, and she took me to the booze shop. When we arrived there, I inquired what beer she wanted me to purchase, and she instructed me to grab Budweiser. I covered my displeasure as best as I could, but it was her party, so I walked in and got 2 cases of 24. I went back in the vehicle and said, "Let's party," and she was unnaturally silent. I realized that she wasn't heading towards her area, but rather back towards mine. I was under the impression that she had relocated or something, but I didn't want to bring it up. I'd finally realized what was going on when she turned down my street. In part, she was being deliberately unclear about the invitation because, although she wanted me to go fetch the beer, she also needed an out if it turned out that I hadn't truly been invited in the first place. It was her finest voice that exclaimed, "Thank you," as she pulled up in front of my home and bent down to kiss me on the cheek. I deadpanned her and inquired as to when she intended to inform me that I was not invited. It was as if she hadn't planned to invite me in the first place, and she pretended to be surprised. I sat in uncomfortable quiet for a long, awkward minute before picking up the drink and making my way towards my door. She jumped out of her vehicle and hastily attempted to re-invite me to the party, but I informed her that what she had done was the most embarrassing thing that had ever occurred to me, and she apologized. I returned to my room after opening my front door, slamming it a little too forcefully and closing it again. Now I'm sitting here sipping really awful pea water, and I'm getting text messages from all of her friends and from her, wondering why I'm being like such a jerk about it all. However, if you haven't guessed it by now, I'm not the most socially adept person in the world, so I'm not sure who is the here. Is it true that I'm here? Story 2. Would do if I didn't buy a new engagement ring. I, a 26-year-old man, have been married to the love of my life for 5 years, female 25. I can't put into words how much I admire her and appreciate her presence in my life. I knew I wanted to marry her as soon as I met her. We finally achieved a point of financial security, so I figured now would be a good time to make a move. My girlfriend's grandmother passed away in the year 2020. They were pretty close, and it was extremely painful for my girlfriend since she couldn't say her last goodbye while in the hospital, which made it much more terrible. COVID restrictions didn't allow visitors. In the spring of 2021, my girlfriend aided her sister with a move into a new house. During the course of moving boxes, she lost a ring that had been handed to her by her grandmother before she passed away. This had caused her considerably more distress, and she continues to weep over it to this day since she believes she has lost her last recollection of her grandmother. We looked everywhere for the ring but couldn't locate it. My girlfriend wept once again over Christmas because she missed her grandmother and was heartbroken about the loss of her engagement ring. This created a thought in my mind. She had gone away with a friend for New Year's Eve weekend, so I called her sister and asked if I might come back and search her house for the ring. When I informed her that I planned to propose to her with the ring, she was overjoyed. We eventually located the ring amid some boxes in her garage, thanks to the assistance of her husband, and my GF's mother, who was also enthusiastic about the idea. Even with 4 people looking, it took us hours. It is the anniversary of our first date that I want to propose on, and we typically go out to do something special on that day. Therefore, I want to propose on the 14th. I notified my friends, who were delighted for me. But when they inquired as to what ring I had gotten, and I told them the story, they branded me as slacker for not purchasing a new ring for my fiancé. They also said that the ring is not intended to be used as an engagement ring. I mean, it doesn't look like an engagement ring, and it certainly isn't one either. It's a simple silver ring with an amethyst stone put in the center of it. My GF struggled with anxiety and her grandmother got her one because apparently those stones help against anxiety. And yes, my GF believes in healing powers of stones and often wears jewelry made out of them. They also said that wearing jewelry that has been acquired by someone else as an engagement ring is a sleazy move on the part of the couple. In addition, one of my friends voiced worry that by associating the ring to our engagement, I would be contaminating its original importance. But I'm not so sure. I'm still on the same page about this. I had assumed that because the ring holds a lot of significance for her, it would make an excellent engagement ring. My girlfriend isn't a big fan of clunky and expensive jewelry and has even jokingly stated that she would be fine with a candy ring because it is the symbolism that counts, not the ring itself. But now I'm worried that I'll come across as a cheapskate and she'll want to wear it as regular jewelry instead. Whipped up edit. This elicited a larger response than I anticipated. Thank you for your comments, the most of which were positive. Also, most people felt that I should offer to go ring shopping afterwards, so she make it another ring if she likes. I believe this is the path I will choose. Thank you for your help. Many others also suggested that she could be disappointed that I didn't give her the ring at the point of engagement for 2 weeks. To be honest, my girlfriend is a major admirer of surprises, so I must say I hadn't considered it that way, and I see my mistake there. Edit 2. This has become a lot larger, and I just want to say that even if you believe I'm the jerk in this scenario, please don't start criticizing others. I noticed a few comments calling others abusive or insane because they lack the concept, and I also got PM wishing my GF would break up with me and sue me. I was astonished to read that the verdict was NTA since every other remark I see is an insult to me. My girlfriend? Please stop criticizing her and blame her for not finding the ring herself. She truly tried hunting for it. Or a random Redditor. Update. As you can see from the date, things happened a little differently. Even though the result was no, many people chose to enter my DM and tell me how terrible and awful I am, how foolish my girlfriend was, and so on. It definitely took a toll on my mental health all weekend, so on Sunday I couldn't take it any longer and decided to tell her right then and there and spend our anniversary ring shopping. We went for a stroll after getting dinner from her favorite restaurant, takeout, regrettably, due to COVID limitations. That's when I took out the ring. She sobbed, as many of you anticipated. Tears of joy. I described how her family and I saw for it, and how I want to make it my life's mission to always make her happy. I posed the big question to her, more joyful tears. She agreed. Surprisingly, she wasn't upset that I kept the ring for 2 weeks. She simply chuckled and said she couldn't believe her sister was able to keep it a secret for so long, because her sister is known to often accidentally spoil surprises. I informed her that the ring is only a sign of how I would always attempt to make her happy, and that we can go real engagement ring shopping together, as suggested in my initial article. But she stated she prefers this ring as an engagement ring and would be pleased to make it an heirloom from now on. Many people thought it was an heirloom in the initial article, but that's not true. She received the ring as a typical gift from her grandmother. Sorry if I made it seem that way, so that her grandmother's memories will go on through future generations. She also joked that we should buy rose quartz wedding rings since they go nicely with amethysts. To be honest, I'm not sure what the crystal stone thing is all about, but I'm simply glad she's pleased. She wore the ring with pride the past 2 days, and I don't believe she ever took it off while sleeping. Though she takes the "I will always strive to make you happy" part a little too literally, and whenever she asks for anything, she puts the ring in front of my face and jokingly claims I now have to do everything she says.